The family of a Calgary teen who died in a crash is speaking out.
There's something wrong with the system.
The accused driver is now charged in another crash.
He's got himself into a whole pile of trouble.
Plus, a petition to keep Alberta in Canada makes its way to Calgary.
We're not interested in leaving Canada.
The Forever Canadian initiative picks up steam. And Calgary's hottest dogs, but it's got nothing to do with the weather.
I feel like Rosie's very popular.
I would say Luna.
Top names, top breeds, and the neighborhoods packed with pooches.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Tara Nelson.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. A grieving Calgary father is frustrated and outraged over the justice system. His teenage son was killed in an alleged impaired driving crash. The man accused in his son's death now faces new charges related to another collision. Both incidents less than a year apart have the family asking why more was not done to keep the accused off the road. Mark Villani reports.
Zachary Legault is described by many as a kind soul, always smiling and known for putting others' needs before his own.
His friends loved him. He was, from what I understand, he was always there for his friends. As far as his career was just taken off.
But all of that changed in an instant on the night of December 23rd last year. Police say this BMW lost control on Glenmore Trail, veering into the shoulder and striking a stationary crane. 2 passengers were in the vehicle. One suffered minor injuries. The other, 18-year-old Zachary Legault, died.
I was extremely enraged.
Police charged 19-year-old Kane Burrows with impaired driving causing death. He was released on bail, ordered not to drive or consume alcohol. But last Friday, Burrows was charged again with impaired driving, this time after a crash near 58th Avenue and McLeod Trail southwest.
To have another accident last week, that should never have happened. There's something wrong with the system.
Police say they tried to pull over a BMW M5 in a traffic stop, but the driver took off northbound on McLeod Trail, slamming into a parked car and setting off a chain reaction that damaged 7 other vehicles. Burrows made his first court appearance on Monday. His case was adjourned for 1 week, and he will remain in custody.
I'm speaking to the Crown, who wants to cancel all his bails, but we are working on a possible bail plan. It won't be immediate.
One criminologist called the case unusual and troubling, adding the charge of breaching bail conditions will weigh heavily in court.
The judge is not going to take that lightly when it comes to putting a criminal punishment related to that.
Meanwhile, some are calling for harsher punishments to deter impaired driving.
Pretty shocking and disgusted, honestly. A lot of these sentences are a joke when they're convicted. They barely see any jail time.
For now, Zachary's family hopes bail isn't granted.
I hope that they lock him up right away.
And Mark is along McLeod Trail where Friday's crash happened. So, Mark, what is the next step in the court process for Kane Burrows?
Well, Tara, Burrows is scheduled to return to court next week for a bail review. The Crown is seeking to revoke his conditions, and if that is approved, it would keep him in custody as his December case comes up in November for a preliminary inquiry. Meanwhile, the Legault family calling for justice here. They're urging that no bails be granted, especially for anyone that's accused of impaired driving causing death. Tara.
Okay, Mark, thank you. There have been 21 fatal collisions in Calgary this year. The province will soon be rolling out a new campaign targeting stunt drivers and excessive speeders. The campaign aims to educate Albertans about the risk of excessive speed. Alberta's transportation minister says the plan is to target locations and times where stunt speeding happens. However, Calgary police tell us they're not aware of the campaign. The plan is to encourage other drivers to report risky behavior that they see on the road.
They know the way in which they can report speeding across the province, as well as try to make speeding or especially racing uncool, and to be able to target individuals that sometimes are going out on social media posting lap times.
Drivers sometimes post the fastest time they can drive a particular stretch of road and then challenge others. The provincial campaign begins August 25th and it will run for 2 or 3 weeks. Slow down and plan ahead. That's the warning from doctors amid a rise in e-scooter injuries right across Canada. New data shows an influx of riders are being hospitalized after crashes, with doctors seeing more broken bones, teeth, and other injuries. Now, the good news, as Tim Brooke explains, there are ways to stay safe this summer.
3 years ago, Jan Lopez bought her own e-scooter.
I love exploring the city, and we have so many bike paths that, I normally wouldn't take advantage of because I don't have a bike, and so that's why I decided to get a scooter.
She's put hundreds of kilometers into these wheels, but as she cruises, she's noticed some changes on the concrete.
More inexperienced people probably are riding the scooters and just don't understand the dangers. One wrong move, one awkward rock in the wrong place, and you can easily fall.
Data from the Canadian Institute for Health Information shows just that. It says in the year ending last April, nearly 1,000 Canadian riders were hospitalized because of e-scooter injuries. That's a 22% increase over the year before. 234 Albertans were hurt, many with wrist or ankle fractures, some with much worse.
We've seen broken jaws. We've seen, total facial smash where people have a lot of dental work to get done. We see C-spine injuries sometimes in the neck.
There are ways to cut down on crashes. Experts say to only ride sober and single.
If we want to make the scooters safer, we make traffic safer, right? We make more bike lanes, more multi-use paths, things like that. And then the scooters aren't hitting people on the sidewalk and they're not hitting cars on the road or being hit by cars on the road.
Perhaps the easiest fix, play it safe and slow down.
I think that you can control the scooter very good. You just have to be careful when you ride it.
It looks just like a fun toy that you can play around with, but they actually are really dangerous.
And Tim joins us now. Okay, Tim, so what else can be done?
Well, Tara, first off, all e-scooter companies here in Alberta, really right across Canada, say that you should be wearing a helmet. In fact, one of the companies that has scooters here in Calgary, Neuron, actually comes equipped with some headgear. All those companies also just preach education, and really one of the best ways to become comfortable on one of these e-scooters is to just take it out on a pathway that maybe isn't so busy before you head into those high traffic areas. And keep in mind, all of these scooters do have some pretty good safety features on them, so it's really good to just familiarize yourself with those features before taking off.
Okay, Tim, thank you. A petition aimed at keeping Alberta in Canada is gathering support at locations across Calgary this week. Kevin Green is at one of those locations. Volunteers with the group Forever Canadian have spent the last 2 hours, Kevin, gathering signatures at the Rosemont Community Association.
They're just wrapping up behind me here, but I did go and chat with all of the volunteers who have been taking names and tallied them up, and in the last 2 hours they got just about 550 signatures here. If this petition is successful, it would undercut any chance of a petition by a pro-separatist group. Current legislation in Alberta only allows one question on the ballot dealing with any individual constitutional issue. The Forever Canadian petition was launched earlier this month by former Alberta Deputy Premier Thomas Lukaszuk, who told me today he has about 2,000 volunteers across the province and is still recruiting more. The petition asks Albertans this question: do you agree that Alberta should remain in Canada? Supporters have 90 days to gather nearly 294,000 signatures. Lukaszuk was not in Calgary for today's event. The volunteers here say they're motivated to push back against what they view as a pro-separatist move by the provincial government.
So we need to have all of these signatures to present to her and say, we're not interested in leaving Canada. This is something you've made up in your head, because it's not anything that the average person wants.
I'm a true Albertan Canadian, and I do not want to ever separate.
This petition needs significantly more signatures than the pro-separatist petition, which is currently before the courts to determine whether it is eligible. The province changed the citizen initiative rules the day after this petition was approved, lowering the signature threshold for future campaigns. More Calgary signing pop-ups are expected throughout this week for the Forever Canadian campaign. We've got details on the locations and times of those on our website at ctvnews.ca/Calgary.
Good stuff, Kevin. Thank you.
You're watching CTV News Calgary.
Well, one step outside and you will see this is a patio night. Danielle joins us now. It's a gorgeous evening to sit outside.
Oh, it's stunning out here, Tara. Just really take a moment to enjoy it if you can, because the weather pattern's different for tomorrow in many different ways. It will be cooler, windier, a little darker, with the risk of thunderstorms. So, yeah, take these in, go for an evening walk, head out to a patio. 25 degrees is the current temperature. So yes, we have some heat. We have relatively calm winds. We have a bunch of sunshine out here as well. Tomorrow, though, again, by the afternoon hours, by noon, we get into the risk of showers and thunderstorm activity, and the winds will pick up to 40 kilometers per hour out of the northwest. That'll be a chillier wind as well. I'll talk more about this coming up, Tara.
Thanks, Danielle. From pop culture to puns or maybe a distinguishing feature, pet owners often take pride in being creative when it comes to naming their furry friend. So what is the most popular choice in Calgary? Jacqueline Wilson has those details.
Dogs hold the title of man's best friend for a reason.
They're always happy to see us. Like, it's so nice to come home and having them to welcome us.
But what name reigns supreme for our canine companions?
I feel like Rosie's very popular.
Rosie, I like it.
And I'll look in Max. I reckon Molly.
All great guesses, but according to the city, it's Luna.
Because she is Luna, yeah.
Luna?
Yeah. Oh, and we can see a lot of Lunas around.
1,019 dogs are named Luna, followed by Charlie, Bella, Lucy, and Molly. But not everyone follows the trends.
Blizzard and Tornado. A lot of our dogs in our family are named after different natural occurrences.
As for most popular breeds, Labs are the top dog. There are over 9,000 in Calgary. German Shepherds, Golden Retrievers, Border Collies, and Yorkshire Terriers. They round out the top 5. You might think your neighborhood is packed with pooches, but Cranston wins the prize for the most licensed dogs at 1,794. Tuscany, Mackenziestown, Auburn Bay, and Douglasdale also love their furry friends. And remember, there's lots of animals looking for their forever home.
We have over 60 animals in our care that are ready to be adopted. This includes about 19 dogs, give or take, lots of cats, and we actually have lots of snakes right now.
Whatever you call them once they're home, they'll always answer to love and treats. Jacqueline Wilson, CTV News, Calgary.
Okay, so as for the top cat names in Calgary, also Luna is the most popular, followed by Bella, Charlie, Milo, and Oliver. Just ahead on CTV News, a fresh escalation in the year-long trade dispute between Canada and China. China announces preliminary anti-dumping duties of more than 75% on Canadian canola imports. An Alberta farmer weighs in. And U of C engineering students put their knowledge to the test, helping a community in Costa Rica. That story is just ahead. And if you have a news tip for us, you can text us anytime at 10-400. China is escalating its trade dispute with Canada, and canola farmers are caught in the middle again. China has announced massive anti-dumping duties, which will take effect on Thursday. Judy Trin has the latest on the retaliatory measures, and the impact on farmers.
My farm is roughly half canola. So today is very devastating news, obviously, to me.
Andre Harp is one of 40,000 canola farmers in Canada who woke up to the news that China was imposing a 75.8% duty on the oilseed. Canola prices dropped $1 a bushel after the anti-dumping tariff was announced. More bad news for an industry contending with drought just weeks away from harvest.
Not only are we facing a yield loss, but at the same time, obviously now we're facing an income loss for whatever we do grow. So it's, right now this could be a double whammy.
In 2024, Canada exported $5 billion of canola to China. To justify its actions, China said that after conducting an investigation, it found that Canada was providing its farmers with unfair subsidies. This escalation has its roots in the former Liberal government's decision to impose tariffs on electric vehicles.
We will be introducing a 100% tariff on Chinese-made electric vehicles.
The previous government in Ottawa had done this to align its policy on China with that of Washington, but we didn't get any brownie points.
The canola industry generates more than $40 billion annually and employs 200,000 people. Saskatchewan's premier says that's bigger than the steel, aluminum, and auto industry combined.
Canola producers hit with these Chinese tariffs, I would say that they deserve the same attention by our federal government and our prime minister as we're seeing in other industries.
To improve the Canada-China trading relationship, Premier Mo says that the prime minister needs to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping as soon as possible. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Alberta's agriculture minister calls China's tariff another devastating blow to Alberta farmers. R.J. Sigurdsson is calling on Ottawa to engage in talks with China to restore access to their market. To wildfires in Atlantic Canada now. People living on the outskirts of St. John's, Newfoundland have been forced out of their homes as a wildfire roars nearby. People living in parts of the Paradise suburb of St. John's must leave immediately. It's home to about 23,000 people. A state of emergency has been declared in a number of communities. The fire started on Monday and grew to roughly 2 square kilometers. In New Brunswick, 2 out-of-control wildfires are burning, and residents north of Moncton have been told to prepare to leave, but so far there have been no evacuations and no homes or other structures have been lost in the province.
This is horrible.
Fueled by hot weather and strong winds, a wildfire near Port Alberni on Vancouver Island has exploded in size. It now covers close to 14 square kilometers. The Underwood fire was discovered last night. It's burning about 15 kilometers from Port Alberni, and it has forced the closure of the highway to Bamfield on Vancouver Island's west coast. Calgary Liberal MP Corey Hogan announced funding today for a program to prevent wildfires. Hogan is parliamentary secretary to the Federal Natural Resources Minister. About $46 million will go to 30 projects across Canada under the Build and Mobilize Foundational Wildland Fire Knowledge Program. The money will be used for everything from research to Indigenous projects that support fire stewardship.
This is CTV News Calgary.
So many places across Canada, so hot, and we'll be waiting for a little bit of rain, Danielle.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, when you look out east, Toronto, so parts of Ontario and through Atlantic Canada, many communities having that humidity in the 40s. So, yeah, we're hot. Not that hot. We're more reasonable, you could say. But look at this, 31 in Brooks, 30 in Medicine Hat and Lethbridge, 31 in Milk River, and 25 in Calgary, 24 in Banff. Now, what we are looking at the jet stream and the whole weather pattern starting to shift down. So we're going to lose the heat a little bit for tomorrow in Calgary, whereas areas in the far south are going to get an extra day of heat before the cooler weather arrives as far south as Lethbridge and Medicine Hat. So tomorrow will be hot there again, but for here in Calgary, we're going to notice a difference, absolutely. Okay, here we go. We have this active weather mainly through central Alberta at this point, and around Coronation as well. Likely it won't be tracking further south than that, but there is a severe thunderstorm watch in place as far down as Airdrie. This is issued by Environment Climate Change Canada, so Airdrie, Cochrane's included in this watch, over through to Empress. Hannah's included in this as well. Again, less likely we'll see that more active weather south of Coronation and south of Red Deer for tonight, but tomorrow is a different story. So I'm going to show you tomorrow in just a second, but I just want to show you the weather pattern that's switching. So we're going to lose this ridge of high pressure. It will remain tomorrow in that far southeast corner. Lethbridge over to Medicine Hat will still be a hot one for tomorrow, but you can see this cooler air mass that will start to move in from the north, and we're also looking at winds gusting out of the northwest tomorrow as well in Calgary, so that's going to also help things feel cooler. So for the rest of this evening in Calgary, it's quiet, but tomorrow, as early as the noon hour, we have the potential of showers and thunderstorms in Calgary and up the QE2 as well. Then that tracks off to the east. We may get a break from that activity in through the supper hours, but then we have the next wave returning tomorrow evening. And rain could be heavy at times as well with this. Again, embedded thunderstorms are possible. And so we may get anywhere from 3 to 5 millimeters of rain in the city when you count Wednesday night and through Thursday morning. We'll likely have some carryover rain in through Thursday morning as well. This is your Action Furnace 5-day forecast. 23 degrees for tomorrow. Again, a good amount of cloud cover. Winds out of the northwest gusting to 40 kilometers per hour in the afternoon, so that will also help things feel cooler. And by the noon hour, we have the potential showers and thunderstorm activity. So it won't be a day like today. Then just 18 for Thursday with showers in the early morning and then holding on to some cloud cover. But we'll get back into the 20s by Friday, and by the weekend, we'll be back in those mid-20s, Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. A University of Calgary student group has helped improve water quality in a tiny village in Costa Rica. The group from the school's engineering program flew 6,000 kilometers south this past spring to build a new water storage tank and help the community filter the water. Tyson Fedor reports.
University of Calgary students Caden Calgren and Owen Thurbide are getting set to plan their next engineering project. In May, they spent 1 week upgrading the water system in a tiny Costa Rican village of fewer than 100 people.
While we were on the grounds, we managed to greatly repair the storage tank. We managed to begin the implementation of sedimentation, a new water source capture tank, and that new water source would more than double the town's water capacity and water flow.
They documented the trip working with locals by digging holes, framing the storage tank, and pouring concrete.
It was both an opportunity for me to apply engineering skills in a real world setting while also being able to help other people and address, water insecurity.
The group began planning the project last September following Calgary's Bears Paw water feeder main breaking, causing infrastructure chaos here.
This town's current water source was depreciating and it needed to be revamped. It was very old.
A charity that works closely with Costa Rica told the students about the water troubles in the village of Taos.
On the ground and being able to communicate with the locals and see how much water is important to them. They often described it as like a source of life, and one of the locals described it as like where a town starts is where the water system is.
Project 90, a student-led group at the U of C, focuses on engineering projects for 90% of the global population.
Approximately 10% of the population in the world receives 90% of the engineering benefits.
The group faced some challenges in the field when it came to land. Their advisor and university professor says the students dealt with a real-world problem from the knowledge they had learned.
That's a good lesson for students that they realize that what we know from textbooks, what we know in classes, could be very, very different once it comes to application.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
That's great. The student group says it's still in need of funding to help with similar projects in the future for underdeveloped countries. Just ahead, the ultimate summer challenge. Heaven for book lovers. How many stories can you enjoy if you were to read every day for the rest of the month? And go, baby, go. Toy cars adapted for children with mobility challenges, letting them hit the road. The Calgary Public Library is hosting its annual Ultimate Summer Challenge. It wants to see Calgarians of all ages reading every day until the end of August. Organizers of the challenge say this is a great way to help kids keep up their reading skills during summer vacation. Here's Kevin Fleming.
The sun is bright. It gets in Teacup's eyes. Oh no. Teacup drops her cup. She is sad.
She's going into grade 6 in the fall, and Ava Galler-McMurdo is reading to her sister Zoe. Ava loves to read, and she easily goes through a handful of books in one day at home. So far, she's logged over 150 titles for the library's Ultimate Summer Challenge.
It's like going into a different world, and you can be part with you can be with the characters. You can live with them. You can feel them. It's like you're in the story.
The library is a treasure trove for Ava, who can always find something new to read. Her brothers Max and Leo spend hours sitting and reading. They both like mystery books and figuring out the clues.
I like reading it. It's fun to see what the problem is. I like reading because I just like reading. It's fun.
Pam Galler says the Crowfoot Library is the family's second home, and she never limits the number of books the kids take out.
They share books amongst each other and introduce different genres to each other, which is nice. So I'll notice my 7-year-old will all of a sudden start reading what my 9, 11-year-old will be reading because they're exposed to each other's genres, so it's great.
The Ultimate Summer Challenge is a healthy competition for the family who log everything they read. The library's initiative is designed to encourage all individuals and families in Calgary to build good reading habits.
It's a great way to prepare for back to school, getting back into that habit of reading every day. And, it doesn't matter if you're reading for 5 minutes or 5 hours, every bit of reading counts.
Zoe is only 3.5 years old, but knows what she likes to sign out and bring home to read. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
So it's free to take part, and there are prizes up for grabs for everyone who is registered in the Ultimate Summer Challenge. We have more information on our website. Tickets are now on sale for this year's Alberta Cancer Foundation Lottery. One of the 3 grand prize choices is a $2.8 million dream villa in West Springs. Formerly known as the Cash and Cars Lottery, this year's draw is offering over 1,000 prizes. Money from ticket sales goes toward local research and improving patient care at Alberta's cancer centres.
We are so grateful to be able to say in the last 20 years, the Cash and Cars Lottery and now the Alberta Cancer Foundation Lottery has put $20 million into cancer care in Alberta.
For more information or to purchase tickets, go online to albertacancerlottery.ca. Still to come, feeling untethered without an anchor. The challenge from malls now that the bay is gone. Gaping retail holes and the ripple effect on shoppers. Calgary children were able to take a spin on specialized adaptive toy cars today. The program helps kids living with disabilities and limited mobility. Parents say it goes a long way in helping their kids just feel a little more independent. Here's Jordan Canigan.
Taking the wheel and getting a taste of freedom. These Calgary children take a test drive of their new adaptive vehicles.
We take the foot pedals and we move them up to the steering wheel, and so it's push button technology, and we have different ways to adapt it for them so it's comfortable and they're able to move their car independently.
Variety's Go Baby Go program connects families in need with corporate sponsors to cover costs. The volunteers assemble and tune up the toy cars for kids living with limited mobility.
It gives him the ability to play outside and explore the environment in a way that he hasn't been able to do yet in his life because of his diagnosis of cerebral palsy and his mobility issues.
2-year-old Beckett is one of 14 kids to receive a car this round. His family says they're already planning on a camping trip to allow him to take it for a spin.
In our daily life, we have to struggle with what works best for him. Even a high chair has been a struggle. So to have something that just works for him is amazing. And the chair can be used in other situations too. So it's just great all around.
Some cars are supported by remote control. Others have adaptive switches and supportive seating. They all make the kids' world a little bigger.
Just gives them the freedom that they may not have had before in their wheelchair. It allows them to move on their own independently, have the freedom to go wherever they want, interact with their friends how they want, and it's a cool ride to just be going around the neighborhood with as well.
Jordan Canigan, CTV News, Calgary.
Variety has been running the program since 2019, and it has provided more than 360 customized cars to children in need. That's so great. I love that.
Amazing.
Awesome. Well, on hot days like today, you have to pull out all the stops to stay cool.
Sunny. Yesterday my life was filled with rain.
This kind of gives new meaning to hot dogs. Nobody wants to overheat, but Jazz and Sage have figured it out. They've got a solution. They get a nice little ice bath.
Oh,
look at that. People watching. They're hanging out at the farmer's market. It's all good.
I don't think they're going anywhere.
No,
I think they're there to stay for a long time.
Put up the umbrella, give me a bit of ice, and we're good to go. Well, you know it's hot out there when you see this. Oh, wow. Yeah, cats aren't usually the biggest fans of water, but these guys are keeping cool in the creek. They seem like they are no stranger to these outdoor adventures. Like they seem perfectly comfortable with this.
Yeah. That is so weird to see a cat doing that.
I know.
That
They
is
usually
so
hate
weird.
the water, right?
Well, I even went in the lake today, just, telling you something.
You sit just like that?
Yeah.
Those cats.
Are you also not often found in the water?
Exactly.
Okay, so what about humans? How are they staying cool? The brave ones are taking a leap of faith. Wow, competitors from around the world braved the elements and the height to take part in an international waterfall jumping contest in Bosnia. The dive at Pliva Waterfall measures 20 meters. This is the 10th year of the event.
I think I'll do the ice or the creek.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to sit in the creek and watch this, maybe. But yeah, I'm not leaping off the top of the waterfall. No. Just ahead, Ottawa sets its sights on more LNG projects. It wants to find new markets for Canada's liquefied natural gas, and it's making the search a priority.
Skywatch weather camera. What a stunning day today. This was summer. You know, we finally felt a little bit of that. And summer will make its return by the weekend, but for the next couple of days, it won't feel like it felt today. You know what I mean? It's going to get cooler, windier, a little rain again. 25 degrees is the current temperature. Today's daytime high, a little above normal for today. Way above normal off to the east in Toronto and through Ottawa, Montreal corridor up to Fredericton and many of these communities with the humidity in those mid-40s. Yeah, that's too hot over there. We're nice hot over here. 25 degrees the high so far today. Again, current temperature in the 30s though. Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, Brooks, Milk River at the moment. And for the far southeast corner, even Lethbridge over to Medicine Hat, they'll have another hot day for tomorrow. But then things will cool down. For us in Calgary, it's going to cool down for tomorrow. You'll definitely notice a difference because that active weather that's just to the north of us will track in. We could even see thunderstorm activity as early as noon, shower and thunderstorm activity as early as noon tomorrow, and the winds will pick up. That'll be a wind out of the northwest, gusting up to 40 kilometers per hour, so that'll be a chillier breeze, absolutely. Your 24-hour forecast brought to you by Action Furnace. Fix right or it's free. Let's take a little dance around to look at temperatures for tomorrow. And yes, showers and thunderstorm activity, Salmon Arm and through Golden, temperatures in those mid-20s. Just 16 is a high in Edmonton for tomorrow. We'll still hold on to the 20s in Calgary, 23 degrees, 26 for Drumheller, and there you go. Still hot, but very windy. Lethbridge over to Pincher Creek, Crozes Pass could see gusts up to 80 kilometers per hour for tomorrow. Tara?
Thank you, Danielle. The family of a Calgary teen who died in a crash is expressing frustration with the justice system. 18-year-old Zachary Legault died last December. The man charged with impaired driving causing death in that case is now charged in another crash. Medical experts are concerned about a rise in e-scooter injuries. Almost 1,000 Canadian riders had to see a doctor last year, including 234 Albertans. And more Albertans are lining up to sign a petition to keep Alberta in Canada. Volunteers collected signatures at the Rosemont Community Association this afternoon. Canadians will start seeing new nation-building projects approved early this fall. That's according to Energy Minister Tim Hodgson. In an interview with CTV's Vashi Kapelos on her iHeartRadio show today, the minister shed new light on the kinds of natural resource projects that could soon be greenlit. Hodgson suggests that Canadian liquefied natural gas will be a significant piece of the Prime Minister's plans to turn Canada into an energy superpower. Here's Rachel Aiello.
I know there are buyers.
Canada's energy minister made it clear today that with multiple projects in the works and a global demand for cleaner energy, there's a market for Canadian liquefied natural gas that may help make the case for facilities to be fast-tracked through the new national projects process.
What I can tell you from the conversations that the Prime Minister has been having, the Minister of Foreign Affairs has been having, the Minister of International Trade has been having, the conversations I've been having, our allies are very interested in Canadian LNG.
A comment the natural resources sector welcomed.
More customers, more shipments, more LNG export facilities means more jobs for Canadians.
The minister said that as soon as the private sector, provincial governments, and Indigenous groups put forward projects, the federal government will start deciding which ones are in the national interest.
I would expect you would see a rolling set of announcements over the fall as different projects mature and meet the criteria.
While stating the government remains committed to its climate objectives, the minister wouldn't rule out easing federal emissions targets to move these projects forward.
So the LNG emissions math is inescapable. So these projects in Canada result in significant increase in emissions. Like one project is equal to about 1 million cars.
Minister Hodgson said that he's focused on results and not how we get there, indicating the powers Cabinet now has through Bill C-5 allows him to deal with any issues that arise. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Since Hudson's Bay shut down in June amid financial ruin, there has been little progress on what becomes of all of those empty stores. Shopping mall locations continue to grapple with shifting shopping habits, and the future of Calgary's downtown location remains uncertain, without anyone stepping up to cover maintenance costs for the aging building. Here's Stephanie Thomas.
The facade and archway of the now vacant Hudson's Bay store in downtown Calgary are cherished by many.
I hope they keep the heritage of the building and it stays maintained.
I think I'd hate to see like a building like this that has so much memory and has such a legacy in Calgary be just left empty for a long time.
It is unique. There are very few buildings like this in Calgary.
But the Calgary Downtown Association is worried that the building will need costly repairs as it sits empty until the building gets a second life.
But as you see, there's already damages on this building that need to be maintained. We can't see this building collapse.
RioCan Real Estate Investment Trust announced Friday it wouldn't spend any more money on its asset on Calgary's Stephen Avenue, citing renewal costs and current debt. The current owners of the 1913 building is unclear. Garner wants a new occupant in quickly.
If RioCan's not going to invest any dollars, then how do we as the city and our engagement together in partners preserve this and maintain it so it doesn't get dilapidated, torn down?
As for shopping mall locations, retail experts say there's no immediate answer.
We don't have sort of an heir apparent large retailer who's going to replace all this, right?
He adds online shopping has hurt department stores and shopping centers, especially over the past decade. And conditions were already rough for retailers and malls before Hudson's Bay liquidated.
Even though the Bay on paper was an anchor, they really weren't acting like an anchor for several years. So one can argue the Bay certainly did not drive traffic to the mall.
Stephanie Thomas, CTV News, Calgary.
The Ontario Superior Court is considering whether to transfer Hudson's Bay leases to a BC billionaire mall owner. One of the properties includes Calgary's South Centre Mall. The property manager is opposed. The business behind the now defunct Hudson's Bay department store has changed its name. It is now going by Rupert Legacy. The name is a reference to the Bay's first governor, Prince Rupert, and Rupert's Land, a swath of wildlands given to Hudson's Bay in the 1700s when it started as a fur trading company. The name change is part of Hudson's Bay's sale of its intellectual property to Canadian Tire. The $30 million deal saw the transfer of all trademarks, names, and branding, including the iconic stripes. Several Alberta post-secondaries are teaming up to turn construction waste into paving stones. Red Deer Polytechnic, Sate and Nate are working with the Calgary company, Sustainable Paving Stones. The two-year venture aims to create sustainable paving stones to address the growing environmental challenge of asphalt single waste.
I think it's really exciting that we are working with Nate and Sate, enhancing our ecosystem and really demonstrating the power of collaborative applied research and the applied research that comes from the polytechnics.
The schools hope to create a commercial production unit capable of producing 9,000 paving stones per hour. The project is being funded in part with a $450,000 grant from Emissions Reduction Alberta. On the markets today, the TSX closed up 146 points to 27,921. The Dow is up 484 to 44,459. The Canadian dollar closed up a fraction to 72.60 US. Crude oil is down 61 cents a barrel to 62.48. And our fix on Western Canadian Select has it down to 50.25 a barrel. The United Church of Canada has installed its next moderator, and she has strong Southern Alberta connections.
Your new moderator, the Right Reverend Dr. Kimberly Heath.
Reverend Dr. Kimberly Heath was installed at Knox United Church in downtown Calgary last night. Reverend Heath was elected over the weekend during the United Church's 45th General Council. Born in Zambia and raised in Canada, Heath was ordained in 1999. She began her ministry in Southern Alberta at the Clare's Home Stavely Pastoral Charge before heading to Ontario, where she currently serves. Some of the best players on the Champions Golf Tour are in town for the Rogers Charity Classic. But today, it's all about the kids first. Glenn has that story for us next. The Duchess of Edinburgh is coming to Calgary. Sophie will be visiting during the Masters tournament at Spruce Meadows in September. Earlier this year, she was announced as its royal patron. Her Royal Highness will also visit a number of local charities supported by Spruce Meadows. Some of the best players on the PGA Champions Tour are here right now in Calgary. Glenn is back with us, and Glenn, the Rogers Charity Classic gets underway this week.
Tara, the Pro-Ams are tomorrow and Thursday, and then they tee it up for real on Friday. Today, two of the past champs spent some time today giving a clinic to some up-and-coming golfers.
Try the Happy Gilmore.
Ken Tanagawa has some fond memories of the Canyon Meadows Golf and Country Club. He won the Rogers Charity Classic last year and is back to defend his title.
Oh, it feels great. I mean, I've always loved coming here, you know, and even take away the win last year. It's a fun spot, great town, great people.
Ken Duke is also a past champ. He won in 2023. Duke says his game hasn't been great this year, but maybe things will turn around at Canyon Meadows.
I've had a rough start this year, but it seemed like it's going back. I had a good week last week, and obviously when you come to a place like this, you have good memories. Sometimes everything rolls over into good thoughts.
Both Duke and Tanagawa are big believers in giving back. And on Tuesday, they teamed up to hold a golf clinic for nearly 70 kids. Duke says it's important not to push kids too hard when they're just getting into the game.
Just let them have some fun, even on the putting green. Make the 2-foot putts. You don't want to try to make the 40-foot putt. Just make the 2-foot putts. See the ball go in the hole. That's what it's all about, and a lot of kids don't do that enough.
So all you're trying to do is take back smooth and swing through smooth.
Just to get them out here is a big part. You know, most of them are doing something at home or something. We want them to get out here and engage in what's going on.
Tanagawa says it's important to do things like this to get kids interested in the game.
To keep the game going, it's about the kids, and they seem to have loved it, and it's really important because, you know, if you could give back a little bit, and if even one kid that decides to keep going and playing, I mean, that's one more kid that plays, so it's a win for everybody when that happens.
For the kids, it was a special day, and they say they got a lot out of the clinic.
To keep your head like where you want it to go and keep your like your eyes on the ball, because if you don't keep your eyes on the ball and you're just like moving your head around or just looking over there while you're about to swing it, it would probably end up as like a bad swing. It was pretty fun. I'm happy that we got to swing the club and stuff.
Calgary's Wes Martin won the qualifier at the Highwood Golf and course today. He fired a very impressive 9 under 62, so he's going to tee it up in the Classic. Also making it through in the qualifier were Michael Janssen and Tommy Gainey.
It's going to be some good golf this week. Not the greatest weather, but not the worst either. I mean, it could be, we've had a lot more rain than is coming our way.
Yes, just 3 to 5 millimeters possible.
That's okay.
By tomorrow afternoon through Thursday morning. Not a big deal in comparison to what we had. So 23 degrees for tomorrow. That 23 degrees, though, comes with more cloud cover tomorrow. Chillier wind out of the northwest, gusting up to 40 kilometers per hour. So it will be windy in Calgary and even windier south of Calgary, where Lethbridge over to Pincher Creek, Crozes Pass could get 80 kilometer per hour gusts. So yeah, it's a windy day for tomorrow. It's a cooler day, and the chance of thunderstorms arrives in Calgary by the noon hour. 18 degrees by Thursday, but we bounce back to those mid-20s by the weekend. Okay, weather window brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors, crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, Alberta's climate. This is from Roy Miller near Diamond Valley, and this just shows the rain that's on the way, you know?
This is looking ahead to tomorrow, I think.
Yes.
Peeking the window to tomorrow. Thanks for your company. We'll see you tomorrow.